I remember the day I gathered my courage to tell my mother about my plans to leave home for university. She burst into tears, wailing that I must not care about her at all. My sibling entered the room, curious about the commotion, and Mom shouted that I was abandoning her out of ingratitude. Without warning, my sister grabbed her device and fired off a vicious private message to me. "You're an idiot. I despise you. You're worthless, and it's good you got mugged. Nobody cares for you, and they never will. How could you upset Mom like that? She's been so good to you, and all she asked was for you to remain. You'll amount to nothing. I know you've been thinking about ending it. So just do it. No one would notice. Your ex dumped you last year, proving no one wants you. I hope you suffer assault once more, but I'll quit before you report me to authorities like you did to Mom back in our childhood. There's plenty more I'd say, but I won't be cruel." As those words hit me, tears streamed down my face. Mom noticed and erupted in wild laughter, praising my sister as comical. "You're staying put," she declared before exiting. I yearned to flee right then, but had no destination. I attempted to compose myself, brainstorming options. When my sister reappeared with a triumphant smirk, she halted right before me, locking eyes as if challenging a response. "What's the matter?" she inquired with phony sympathy. "Did I upset you?" Without pausing, she added, "Oh, right. You lack emotions. You're a hollow person who believes the world is indebted to you." I stayed silent, fearing I'd either yell or sob if I spoke. Refusing to gratify her, she inched nearer, whispering harshly, "You're such a weak winner. It's no surprise people avoid you." Then, from behind, she suddenly snapped her finger against my skull. I lurched ahead, and she chuckled derisively. "Whoops, didn't notice you there," she mocked. The pain lingered, but I held still, gripping my hands tight to maintain control. I felt imprisoned, immobile. She whispered in my ear again, "You ought to vanish for everyone's sake. It'd be a relief." I shut my eyes, longing to evaporate, to be elsewhere. She withdrew with a cruel cackle. "Exactly as expected. Act all strong, but you're spineless." She departed, leaving me trembling. My scalp ached, yet it paled against the weight in my heart. I inhaled deeply, stabilizing myself. Escape was essential, but uncertain. That evening, I retreated to my space and secured the entrance. This place felt like an endless bad dream. Perched on my mattress, I gazed at the empty surface ahead, plotting my next move. I couldn't simply exit via the main way. They'd block me. A strategy was vital. First, I accessed my phone and captured images of my sister's note, unsure of their use. But evidence seemed wise, like preparing against kin. It was odd, yet necessary after their actions. I concealed the captures in a private directory and duplicated them to my online storage. Then, I reviewed prior communications from her. Years of harsh remarks and warnings. I preserved those as well, skimming lightly to avoid more tears. Focus was key. I listed essentials: garments, my computer, some volumes, savings from my side work, around $300 hidden, modest but a potential launchpad. I assembled a compact satchel quietly, folding a tire and inserting the tech with its power cord. The funds went buried beneath. My pulse raced throughout, as if committing a crime, but I affirmed. This was survival, not enduring facade of normalcy. While sealing the pack, steps echoed in the corridor. I stiffened, pulse surging, the handle jiggled. I'd secured it. "Unlock this." Mom's tone pierced. Irritated, I paused, then rose to comply. She shoved inward, posture defensive, scowling. Her gaze landed on the satchel, comprehension flashing. "What on earth are you up to?" she interrogated. I aimed for composure, but anxiety quivered my words. "Just organizing items." I replied unsteadily. "For studies, preparing ahead." "Don't deceive me," she retorted, advancing. "You plan to flee after all I've provided? Just depart." My throat tightened. "Not departing now," I said, feigning a grin. "Merely arranging." "I'm remaining." Skepticism etched her features. She neared, face close. "You fancy yourself clever, plotting a flawless escape. But no, you're trapped here." "I understand, Mom," I murmured placatingly. "I'm here to stay. Apologies." She scrutinized me intensely, probing for falsehood. I met her stare, projecting serenity. At last, she retreated with a disdainful twist of her mouth. "Correct. You're immobile. You fit here with us. Remember that." I assented, appearing subdued as my inner turmoil. She shot a final scowl and exited, banging the barrier. I exhaled raggedly, limbs quaking like after exertion. I completed assembly, adding extras. Surrender wasn't an option. I refused their ruin. Somehow, I'd depart. Even nocturnally if required. I'd liberate myself. Regardless of means, I wouldn't shatter further. I'd covertly reached out to a distant associate. I shared my home plight, and she plus her relatives, acquainted with Mom, offered refuge if I arrived discreetly, undisclosed. That's my aim. Update 1. My fingers tremble, but But I'm en route to a refuge for family violence victims. Terror grips me. The kin who pledged shelter withdrew, citing mom's fury is too risky. If discovered, she might act wildly, endangering them. I'm devastated. Secrecy was assured, distances vast. How could she learn? I appeared disheveled from haste. On departure night, Mom spotted me exiting. She hurled a container my way, spewed venom, vowed harm. No chance for hygiene. I reek and look ragged. Update 2. At the hospital obtaining prescriptions, the refuge covers costs. I dread scrutiny for my unkempt state, but flight was urgent. The haven is welcoming. Absence of shouts or nightly dread is relieving. Drawback: 30-day limit. Fortunately, an employment discussion awaits. At a film venue. Ideal. I'll disclose truthfully my need due to lodging. My pal and folks reconsidered. Permitting stay post-limit if needed. Just fun travel. Update 3. Astonishing. Almost 3 years since those frantic pleas surfaced in memory. Revisiting, I yearn to embrace my past self, having overlooked the severity, and embrace supporters whose guidance I noted and applied. Final chapter. Joyful. The haven was pristine and fresh. Personnel noted prior one's overcrowding. Fortunate timing. Post-initial day, tension eased. Respiration freed. Roughly 7 females resided, each with private quarters and baths. As youngest, elders shared wisdom, prepped my appearance for meetings. We rotated meal prep per guidelines, forging bonds. Staff excelled, offering life counsel. Security ensured safety, nearly overlooked. A faith assembly donated handmade blankets. Mine endures, evoking progress. I cherish and launder delicately. Therapy sessions, collective and solo, aided immensely. Not all refuges match, but flee peril. Kin mistreatment qualifies as household aggression. Secured employment surpassing theater wages. Fibbed on foregoing education. As cinema pay couldn't sustain housing. Opted independence over pal's offer. Craved reliability. Post-trauma, security felt elusive, though no ill omens, leased a chamber. Cohabitant trucker seldom present. Uneasy with unfamiliar elder male, yet choices scarce, he proved kind. Mismatched timings led to farewell missives. I retain his. Resumed studies next term post-health hiatus at novel institution for renewal, family. Aware of prior, admission essay detailed endurance, sister's prophecy of failure aired, she likely sensed it. Completed degree this annum, attaining unprecedented steadiness, delayed graduation irrelevant, break proved advantageous, recently betrothed to wonderful partner from nurturing clan. They claim me as kin, bond tight with prospective in-law, recent illness bout. He fetched hydration aid at midnight unprompted, prepared broth amid distress. Contrast, childhood sickness met dismissal to rest, cherish such care. Occasionally demur, unnecessary, from habit, his half-dozen kin substitute absent. Siblings, learned self-prioritization, unloved before, now self-provide, by Bloom's weekly per counselor. Transforms outlook, illness unattended, now repose undisturbed, privacy undervalued, dedicate phoneless solos, etc. During prior note. Wept convinced of doom. 30 days seemed futile, despondent, unforeseen positivity unfolded.